Hey everybody, it's Chuck Freebie with your preview of the high school football weekend. Can you believe we hit the halfway point of the regular season in Indiana this week? And in Michigan, it's week 4. Some good battles on both sides of the border. Let's start north of the state line. That Wolverine Conference up there has 6 teams with an overall record of 2-1. 2 of them get together at Leo Hoffman Field as Vicksburg visits Edwardsburg. Boy, the Bulldogs, they like to sling it around. They've got a quarterback by the name of Caden Bolin who can throw it. R.J. Valier, his favorite threat, and that offense averaging 32 points a game. So they've been impressive so far. Defensively, Grant Anderson has been a force on that side of the ball. He had 9 tackles in their win over Sturgis a couple weeks ago. But you know, in the last few years, Vicksburg hasn't come within 47 points of the Edwardsburg Eddies. That's how formidable a force Kevin Bartz's team has been. And they have plenty of company there, don't they? Last week, the Eddies racking up 369 yards of rushing on Niles. They bring so many weapons in that running game. You've got Andrew Colvin, who ran for 119 yards last week. But what really pleased Kevin Bartz was the improvement of his defense. They held the Vikings to just 7 points after giving up 58 in the first 2 games. He'll be looking for a similar performance from them on Friday night. Meanwhile, another game in the SMAC has Battle Creek Lakeview at St. Joseph. Pair of 2-1 teams squaring off at Dickinson Stadium in this one. The Lakeview Spartans lost the conference opener to Portage Central last week, but they've been pretty stingy on defense. Defensive tackle Jaden Dennis, a real force in the middle of that line. Jerry DiOrio coming off a heart surgery in January, and last week didn't help. They lost a 13-point lead to Portage Central, including losing the ball game on a 4th and 2 at their goal line with 2 minutes left in the game. So you know that defense is going to be prime for this St. Joseph team coming in. Andrew Prattley's squad 2-1. They had no problems with Kalamazoo Central last week. They'll need a formidable running game from Trey McGinnis. They need some consistency on offense from their quarterback, Matthew Lanier. And of course, defensively, Dylan Stevens and Elijah Turner have been stalwarts on that side of the ball. Should be a fun one up at Dickinson Stadium and a warm night up on the lakeshore. Meanwhile, we come down to Indiana. Big game in the Northeast Corner Conference as Fairfield goes to West Noble. The Falcons undefeated. They have beaten 2 5A schools and a 6A school so far this year. So you know they're not going to be bowed about this trip to Ligonier to take on a potential sectional foe. Matt Thacker's squad getting solid performance at quarterback from Carter Kitson, directing that triple option offense so far this year. Brecken Marin has been a force at running back. And on the defensive side of the ball, the alliterative combo of Cohen Custer and Braden Berkey have been stalwarts as well. They take on Monty Mauharter's West Noble Chargers, who come into this one with a record of 3-1 after a loss to Angola last week. Estel Pruitt leading the running game, Drew Yates leading the passing game. The senior Zach Beers has been very solid on defense. And getting some help from young Jaden Ash, the sophomore. They'll have to be disciplined on defense if they're going to handle that triple option attack of the Fairfield Falcons. Boy, the battle for the bell features 2 unbeaten teams for the first time since 2007. We were there the last time that Tippecanoe Valley and Rochester were unbeaten going into this one. Rochester bringing its prolific offense to Death Valley to face the Vikings. This one could be just as crazy as that one was 15 years ago. Rochester running back Alex Deming, the man to watch for the Zebras. He averages nearly 150 yards a game, had 226 yards rushing in the win over Knox. Zebras putting up 51 points a game, but now they face Stephen Moriarty's Vikings. They've got good balance in the running game led by Nathan Parker. Very efficient passing game as well with Cody Eastgate. The onus may be on that defense. Valley only giving up 13 points a game. Rochester scoring 51 a game. Something's got to give down in Mentone on Friday night. 2 teams in bad moods meet in Walkerton as Knox visits John Glenn. Russ Radke's team coming off a rivalry loss to North Judson last week, in which the Knox Redskins fell in that game by a count of 26-0. They just couldn't get anything going on offense. That is the first time that a Russ Radke team has been shut out since he was at Griffith back in 2009. So you know the Redskins will be working on that offense this week. They're looking for some improvement from quarterback Cohen Watson and the rest of the offense. But as they go into Walkerton, they've got to find a way to contain John Glenn and some explosive components of John Barron's offense. Yes, John Glenn lost to Jimtown last week on TV 46. Yes, John Barron wasn't happy about that. But they've got a young man by the name of Ty Larkin who put on a show last week on TV 46. Not only that 30-yard reception, but a couple of touchdowns. Chase Miller has been very solid on defense. In fact, he leads the state in interceptions. Don't want to get away without talking about Cameron Hardesty either. He played a wonderful game on the defensive line last week. They need all those components to come together for the Falcons to control the line of scrimmage against Knox and get the W. And then two of the area's biggest conferences have big games this week. Let's start in the Northern Lakes, a battle of the unbeatens as Warsaw goes to Northwood. You can't say enough about the job Bart Curtis has done down in Tigertown. He's going to want to bring his brand of power football into this one, play keep away from the Panthers, find ways to control that explosive offense, and maybe the best way to do that is to just hang on to the football. The Tigers, though, have been very good at moving those wild hogs on into the end zone and controlling the line of scrimmage. And defensively, Warsaw has not been scored on in the last 10 quarters. So you know Bart Curtis is going to hope his team can find a way to control what has been a very explosive Northwood team this year. I'll tell you what, Nate Andrews has it going right now in Napanee. Owen Rader has thrown 7 touchdown passes in the last 2 weeks, and this receiving core of Nitro Tuggle, shown here, J.J. Payne, Parker Philly, and more, probably the best in the area. Now, Northwood's got to find a ways to do this, what Ethan Evers did right there. Apply pressure, try to control the line of scrimmage, tackle in space. One more thing to watch in this game. Northwood has a kicker named Dominic DeFreitas who leads the state in field goals. He could be a difference maker in this one. In the game we have for you on TV 46, the two schools with the largest enrollments in our viewing area go head-to-head Friday night on the banks of the ELK River as PENN visits ELK in a huge Northern Indiana Conference clash. Let's start with the visitor, the PENN Kingsmen. They come in with a record of 2-2. Very deceiving record because their last 2 games have been against number 3 Cathedral and Cincinnati St. Xavier. Corey Yeoman's team has been solid on defense. Not spectacular on offense, but new quarterback Nolan McCullough and the running tandem of JoJo Williams and Jake Bayless have been able to do the job most of the season. Penn does have some susceptibility to the passing game, but they have faced 2 top-flight quarterbacks the last 2 weeks. If they can pressure the Elkhart quarterbacks, this one could go to the Kingsmen. But Elkhart is 4-0, and head coach Ramos in St. Louis really believes in his team right now and believes publicly, he has said, they can beat the Kingsmen. This will be by far the best opponent that Elkhart has played this season, considering their foes have a combined record of 2-14. That man, Gavin Hauser, along with Elias Leonard and Javen Sharp, head up the backfield. 2-quarterback system with Brady Cooper and Quinn Ross. But the big story for Elkhart has been their defense. They're only giving up 3 points per game. So what's going to unfold before a big crowd at Rice Field? We'll find out. We will show it to you Friday night at 11 and Saturday morning at 9 on your home for high school sports, TV 46. Can't wait to be there. Hope you'll join us for that, and thanks for joining us today on social media.